and girls, it's Know It Time! Know It Time!
Alright, so today I'm going to teach you how to do rationals. Now, to do rationals, a rational is really a fraction. Okay? So in short, a rational is really something like a fraction, if you want to keep it simple. So I'm going to give you the most basic rational there is for grade 12. Y equals to 1 over x. What I'm going to get you to do is to use your TI-83 and graph it. So I want you to graph this. I just want to see what the shape looks like. What I'm going to do is I'm going to set this Windows mode to maybe -10, +10. Y min, I'm going to maybe set to -10 and +10. Because I'm not here to see the full graph. I just want to see what the general shape looks like. Under y equals, make sure everything is cleared up, 1 over x. And let's hit graph, because I want to see what the general shape looks like. And if I look at that, it looks something like that. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to just basically sketch it out for you. So if you graph it out, your graph looks something like that. Okay? So if I were to show you, so I'm going to compare. Here's my TI-83, and I just took that and drew it along. But when you draw it out by hand, notice one thing. There's a reason these graphs never cross the x and the y axis. There's a reason for that. There's an imaginary border that says you better not touch as an asymptote. And I want you to use a different color pen, and let's draw this in. So you notice there's two asymptotes this time, the way my TI-83 shows it. So what I'm going to do, let's see if I can zoom in for it. Zoom. And let's try a zoom set. Okay. No matter what, it doesn't work. So I'm going to draw a little imaginary asymptote right here. I'm going to use the dashed line just to make it easier to see. Okay. So right off the bat, there is something called my horizontal asymptote. Okay. That's a horizontal asymptote. But a horizontal asymptote must have an equation. You can't just write horizontal asymptote, let me figure out what it is. So you got to figure out what the number is going to be. And let's start day with eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Oh, Nash, what do you think the number is going to be at? 0. But more importantly, you have to write it as an equation. Something equals to 0. This is where you got to be careful. Is it y or is it x? Y. The reason why y is 0 is because look at this. If you look at all the y values along this line, notice it's always 0, no matter what happens. So horizontal asymptote refers to y equals to 0. Take a minute. I want you to draw in your vertical asymptotes right now. Again, I'm going to use a different color pen just to distinguish between the two. See? So there's something called a vertical asymptote right there. So this is, I'll call this my vertical asymptote. Okay. Nothing too bad. I nickname this my va. And I'll nickname this my ha. And I actually had a friend named Ha, Vuha. Could you not? His last name is Ha. And I used to make fun of him all the time, which I feel bad. I'm like, ha 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 ha. But you know, I feel bad after a while. Yeah, I was a mean kid back then. Okay. So vertical asymptotes. Again, I need an equation. Ashley, what do you think the equation is going to be? X equals to 0 is correct. Okay, very simple concepts. I've taught you two things. Now, if I decided to make it a bit more challenging, because this is too easy, and give you this, y equals to 3 dash x minus 4 plus 2. See, now this question is totally new. Compare this to versus 1 over x. I want you to write down in English, write all the transformations that occur in the correct order. All the transformations that occur. Okay. Not in any other language, English, because then when I mark it, I'm going to pause it. Let's start with Kristen, madam. Give me one thing that happens first. Good. There's a vertical stretch by 3. So remember, this and transformation goes hand in hand. Treat this as another function, 1 over x. I need Angelica. Give me another thing that happens. Up 2 is also correct. Emmett, what's the last thing that happens? Good. And notice Emmett says right 4 even though it's negative, because when you deal with horizontal, everything is sort of reversed. Now here's the thing. I have all these movements. The question is, find your new ha and va. Your new ha and va. You're going to find all your new ha and va, and I'm going to show you how to sketch it in a second. So find all your new ha and va. So if I were to just sketch, so let's start with my ha. My horizontal asymptote used to be at 0, right here. Dominique, take a guess what the new horizontal asymptote is going to be. Equation.
Oh, sorry.
Well, y equals to 2 is correct. The reason why is you're shifting up 2. So you take this line, you move it up 2. Okay. Donna, take a guess what your vertical asymptote is going to be. X equals to 4 is correct. Why? Because I'm shifting to the right. So you take this line and you move to the right. Now, what I want you to do is let's draw what I have so far. I have y equals to 2. And again, I'm going to play the guessing game. It's going to be somewhere around here. Okay. I have x equals to 4. It's going to be somewhere around here. Okay. Now the problem is this. I have a quadrant. I need to write few things down. Star. A rational graph always exists in pairs. Exists in pairs. Okay? So what this means is this. I have two possible combinations. One, I can have a graph that goes from here all the way to here, and then here to here. That's one possible combination. Okay? That's the first pair. Or I can have another pair. Let's use green. See? This is another possible solution, because the question now is, how do you know which one to use, the red color or the green color? Oh, there's no color? Oh well. Problem is my thing there has my LCD screen is broken. Here's the reason and how. Good question. I have to ask Ms. Mackay. To figure out. No, I'm serious. Your quadrant. I'm always serious. To figure out your quadrant, you need a few more informations to find x and y intercept. So when I ask you to graph, this is the sort of thing you have to do. Give me your x-intercept and give me your y-intercept. I'm going to write your equation again. I'm going to pause it and let you have some fun figuring out your x and y-intercept. So this is y equals to 3 over x minus 4 plus 2. Find my x-intercept. Find my y-intercept. Once you have your x and y, so if it's an x-intercept, print, y must be what? Ooh, no. Y has to be 0. So I go 0 equals to 3 over x minus 4 plus 2. Now, we're solving for x. Negative 2 equals to 3 over x minus 4. Negative 2 x minus 4 equals to 3. See, all I'm doing is nothing. I'm just moving things over. Now, I can bring the negative 2 over. So, x minus 4 equals to 3 over negative 2. You can go ahead and use the decimal system you want. So, this is going to be x minus 4 equals to negative 1.5. What? X equals to, now I move the 4 over, and you should have 2.5, I believe. 5.2, please. 5 over here. But you got 2.5? Because I'm pretty sure you followed this out? Yeah. Yep, it works fine. There's nothing wrong with it. Decimal doesn't matter. I want you to do the y-intercept now. So my y-intercept is, again, here's my equation. 3 over x minus 4 plus 2. Manraj, if it's a y-intercept, what must x be? 0. And I just plug it in. 3 over negative 4 plus 2. Use your calculator if you want and figure this out right now. Y equals to negative 0.75 plus 2. 1.25. So let's pull everything we have together right now. So when you graph, these are things I'm looking for. I'm looking for your x-intercept. I'm looking for your y-intercept. I'm also looking at your ha. I'm also looking for your va. 4 things I look for when you graph. So my ha was at y equals to 2. X equals to 4. I want you to put everything in your grid now and graph it for me, please. So let's draw a brand new grid because you have all this information now. Again, I'm only going to draw a rough sketch. 2 is somewhere here. 4 is going to be somewhere here. Plug in your x and y intercept and tells you what quadrant you're in, and you know the pair you should have. Okay. So I'm going to put in my y-intercept. My y-intercept is 1.25, maybe somewhere here. My x-intercept is 2.5, maybe somewhere here. I'm going to pause it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to draw this graph, and it looks something like here, like that. And remember, it exists in pairs, so the other pair has to be directly opposite from it. That is how you graph this. I'm going to give you one question you can try on your own, and then I'm going to give you a super note question and show you how to work backwards. That sounds so staged. Y equals to negative 3 over x plus 1 minus 3. I want you to graph it. Show all work when you graph. I'm going to pause it. So what I'm looking for is x and y intercept. What I'm looking for is your ha's and your va's. I see a bunch of weird things happen in us. The Emirates. What's the first thing that happens? Let's hear it. Vertical stretch by 3 is correct. Howin, what's next? Good. Reflection in x-axis because of this negative signs in front. Nope. That's where this is. Imagine this whole thing is like f of x right here. So I have a negative in front. Okay. So, Gerline, what's next thing that happens? Left one is correct. And I'm gonna Donna. Sorry, no, Devesh. What's the next thing that happens? Down 3. I just remember I asked Donna already. Down 3. So guys, gals, there's it. Now we take that and find your ha's and va's first. Okay. So again, I didn't really do anything hard. I just applied transformations to all this stuff. Ha's and va's is an equation, not a number. Don't give me a number. Patricia, what is your ha gonna be? Y equals to -3 is correct. Okay. And Sukmin, what is your va gonna be? X equals to -1 is correct. Now when I graph this out, I can't graph it out yet because I'll be missing a bunch of key points. So I want you to take a minute right now, find your x-intercept. Hi, question. Hi. My ha? Because it's down 3. Because when you do vertical, no, it's only the horizontal stuff. Okay. So again, your x-intercept, 0 equals to -3, x plus 1 minus 3. Again, I want you to take a minute right now and just... I'm going to work this fairly quickly because we need more time. So I'm going to move things over. That's a 3. And I'm going to multiply that by x plus 1 equals to -3. X plus 1, I'm going to divide this by 3, gives you -1. X equals to -2. Very nice. And we're going to do the same concept for y-intercept. This time I let x be 0. Okay. And Danish, what is your y-intercept? Y equals to -6. You have every piece of information there is. Put it on a grid and graph it for me. And this is probably the most accurate way of doing it without using a TI-83. Okay, so my y, start with my ha's and va's. -3 and -1. So here's -3. That tells you the horizontal and vertical stuff. And -1. Okay. Y is -6. X is -2. Give me 1 second. So -6 is somewhere here. -2 is somewhere here. Somehow, your grid must hit those. Go. Okay. Amit, question. Yep.
Are you really picky about that? Or?
No, because when you do this stuff, it factors in all the vertical stuff. Okay? So when I graph it, really, my graph has to look something like this. Again, I'm going to try like that. And this one is going to be a bit tricky, but I think it's going to look something like that. Yeah, something like that. Voila. That is how. Now I'm going to show you the form. So this is called. So let's write down my equation. Y equals to 3 negative. Well, just write down 3 this way. X plus 1. I'm going to write this down. This form can be written as this. This form can be written as y equals to a over x minus h plus k. if you want to think about it, I can think of writing as a general form for A and K. So A is just any number. K is just any number here. H is just any number here. Here comes the fun part. Now you're working backwards. This is your supernode question for today. I'm going to pause it. Alright, here's your supernode question for today. Let's see who can figure this one out. I have a graph drawn for you. Your job is to work backwards and write it in the form of y equals to a over x minus h plus k. That's your task. I give you the equation. You work backwards to get this. And I'll give you hints. There's a reason why they have 2 dots here. How you use those 2 dots will be up to you and your group. Let the games begin. Go. If you're lost on this, let me show you how this is done. Now, first of all, notice one thing. Let's write down your vertical asymptote. My VA is right here. Is that x equals to -3. Now, when I work forward, this part right here represents your vertical asymptotes. So you get y equals to a over, this part should be x plus 3. Now, there's a horizontal asymptote which is not shown. There's always one, which is that y equals to 0. So this part right here represents your vertical asymptotes, which is just plus 0. Now, here comes the fun part. You don't have to write plus 0. A lot of you are stuck on a because I said I need an a value. And I give you hints. In order for you to get to a, if I give you x and y, you can get a. So there's a reason why they give you these 2 points. You use any one of these points you like and you plug it in right now. So I'm going to use this point right here to plug it in. So I'm going to let y be 1 equals to a over -2 plus 3. I solve for a. A equals to 1. Your final answer must be rewritten properly as x plus 3. That is it. Take a look what I did. This is why they gave you these 2 points. Because you got to use them to plug it in to get a. You always plug it in. One last thing and then I'm going to release you. What do you do? What do you do if you are not given a question in the form y equals to a over x minus h plus k? Because if I give you in this form, everyone can solve it. I'm going to twist it up a bit and give you in a form that is totally different. This is your question. Why? You can't do this. It's something I have to teach you. 4x minus 5 over x minus 2. A lot of you look at this and say, what the heck is this? I don't even know my vertical asymptote from my horizontal asymptotes. Because it's not in a form that you can work with. So now, I'm going to show you how to convert. How to convert. And this is my last thing, and then you can do your work. Okay. The problem is this. Number one, there's a big problem. This is a 1 fraction. Here, I have 2 separate pieces. Somehow, I have to convert from here to this format. So there's a lot of tricks you're going to do. The key is this. You take your coefficient in front of the x. You are going to multiply that with the constant on the bottom. And let's do that right now. So we're going to write down 4x. here's where this trick comes in. You're going to take these two numbers, you're going to multiply them together. That gives you negative 8. But if I go 4x minus 8 minus 5, don't copy this down yet. This is not the same. They're totally different because of this minus 8. Somehow, we have to balance it out. So before you write a minus 5, you could put in plus 8 minus 5. Because would you agree this is the same as 4x minus 5? Because minus 8 plus 8 cancels out. So only thing I did was add in that. Now I go all over x minus 2. Hi. So you take 4 and minus 2, right? Is negative 8. So the other one has to be the opposite form to get you 0. Because this is the exact form as 4x minus 5. So now, what I'm going to do is this. You're going to put a bracket around the first two terms. So when I put a bracket around the first two terms, go ahead and what do you do next? When in doubt, F it out. You can F something out here. Go ahead, factor out of 4. So this becomes 4x minus 2. Now I'm going to simplify the right one. Plus 3 all over x minus 2. So far so good? Nope, you can't cancel. Because the minus 2 can't cancel yet. Notice one thing. The form I want to be written as has two pieces. This is still 1. So we're going to write this as two separate pieces now. This becomes 4 x minus 2 over x minus 2 plus 3 over x minus 2. So now I have two pieces. And look at that. When I do that, now I can cancel something. X minus 2, baby, bye, bye, bye. It's gone. Okay? So what you're left with is, I'm going to write this in order for you. 3 over x minus 2 plus 4. See? So now, this form is in the form that you can work with. And I'm going to recap what I did. And I'm going to give you a question for you to try, and I'm going to give you work. The key is you take the coefficient multiplied by the constant. Bracket, factor, and separate. I'm going to give you this question for you to try. This is going to be y equals to 2x plus 2 all over x minus 4. I want you to write it in the form of y equals to a over x minus h plus k. I'm going to pause it and just right off the bat, I know this is not in a form I can work with. So I'm going to do exactly what I take the coefficient and I multiply with the constant. And that's negative 8. So negative 8 goes first. We 2x minus 8, but we can't do that. We have to write down plus 8 plus 2 all over x minus 4. And if you did it right, things will cancel out very nicely. Okay, I just go bracket. And if you did it right, again, I'm going to factor. X minus 4 plus 10 over x minus 4. I'm going to rewrite this as two separate brackets. X minus 4 plus 10 over x minus 4. That cancels out. Now, you're given a form you can work with. You can now find your has, was, and all the good stuff. Your work. Page. That's it for today. 442. Numero. Yep, you're going to use the textbook. Numero 1 to 7. For now. And that's it. So everything I taught you, you should be able to do. And that ends your lesson for today.